Alright, quick question. What would you do if you found a penny worth, wait for it, $760,000? That's right. This tiny piece of copper could be your ticket to nearly $1,000,000. So before you toss that worthless penny in a jar, let's talk about a 1951 Lincoln cent that has collectors dropping serious cash. Like life-changing, house-buying cash. And here's the kicker. It doesn't even have a mint mark. But before we dive into why this penny is such a big deal, hit that like button so the YouTube algorithm knows we're talking serious money here. Alright, let's go treasure hunting. Alright, so here's the deal. Not every 1951 penny without a mint mark is going to score you $760,000. No. That's the kind of stuff dreams are made of. The coin we're talking about today has some rare qualities that make it incredibly valuable, and they're subtle, so keep your eyes peeled. Now, first off, let's break down what no mint mark means. See, if you've got a penny that doesn't have a little letter under the date, like a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, then it means it was minted in Philadelphia. In the 1950s, Philadelphia was like the main factory for coins, so they didn't bother with a mint mark. That's normal. But there's more to this penny than just its birthplace. Alright, so if there are so many 1951 no mint mark pennies, why is this one worth a small fortune? Well, this bad boy has been graded in absolutely stunning condition, known as MS67 red. That basically means it's as close to flawless as a penny can get, practically untouched since the day it was minted. And those perfect pennies from 1951? Very, very rare. Imagine this. Back in 1951, maybe someone was saving this penny for a candy bar, got distracted, and just shoved it in a drawer. And there it sat, untouched for over half a century. Fast forward to today, and it's worth more than the average house. If you've ever procrastinated on cleaning, take heart, that clutter could pay off. Okay, so let's talk grading for a second. Coins get graded on a scale up to 70. Yeah, 70, not 100. Coin grading keeps it interesting. This penny is an MS67 red, which is pretty much unheard of. MS means it's mint state, so no heavy circulation. The red part means it has this beautiful, original copper shine. Most pennies from 1951 have lost that fresh copper luster. They're all brown and dingy, kinda like the one I found under my car seat last week. But when a 1951 penny keeps its vibrant red tone, collectors go nuts. These coins didn't just survive, they thrived. Now here's the juicy part. Last year, one of these coins sold at auction for, drumroll, please, $760,000. That's more than the price of a top-tier luxury car or even a down payment on a fancy house. The reason? Coins like this don't come around often, so collectors are willing to pay huge amounts to get their hands on them. Think of it as the world's most expensive penny pinchers. I mean, I used to get excited finding an old penny in my couch cushions, but now? I'm rethinking my whole retirement plan. Forget 401ks, maybe I just need a lucky penny jar. Now, if you're wondering how to check if you've got a hidden treasure in your pocket change, here's what to look for. First, check the date. You want 1951. Then, see if there's a mint mark. Remember, no mint mark means Philadelphia, which is what we're looking for. Finally, and this part is key, check the color and condition. If it's red and shiny, like brand new shiny, you might want to get it graded by a professional. This is the point where you call in the experts because grading could make the difference between a penny worth a few cents and, well, all the cents. So, the next time you see a 1951 penny, don't just toss it in the change jar. Give it a second look. That little guy could be your ticket to $760,000. Just imagine, what if that penny you spent on a gumball back in the day was actually worth a house? Painful, right? That's why it's time to start digging through those coin jars, folks. And hey, if you love learning about valuable coins and hidden treasures hiding in your change, subscribe to the channel. We've got more coin tips, collecting strategies, and money-making secrets coming your way. Don't miss out, who knows? Maybe your next penny is worth a fortune. Have you ever looked at that one lonely penny rolling around in your car cup holder and thought, This little guy could be worth, oh, say, $714,000? Yeah, I know. It sounds wild, but today we're diving deep into the 1963. No mint mark. Lincoln penny. Yep, these little copper coins have stirred up some serious buzz in the coin collecting world, and for good reason. Let's see if that penny you just tossed in your spare change jar could actually buy you a house. Stick around till the end. I've got some quick tips on spotting hidden gems in your pocket change. And trust me, these tips are worth a whole lot more than just a penny for your thoughts. So, what's up with this 1963 penny? And why would anyone be willing to pay a whopping $714,000 for one? Here's the scoop: the 1963 no mint mark penny is part of the Lincoln 1-cent series minted in Philadelphia. You won't see a P on these pennies because Philly didn't bother with mint marks back then. Now, not every 1963 penny is worth the big bucks. It has to be in absolute top-notch condition, known as MS-67 or Mint State 67 in coin grading terms. That's the level where even the smallest nick or discoloration knocks it out of the running. These coins have to be basically perfect, like they just walked off the mint floor yesterday. So, if your penny looks like it's been chewed up by a lawnmower, we're probably not talking about that one. Alright, let's get real about why these coins go for insane prices. 2 words: rarity and condition. Out of millions of 1963 pennies, only a handful survived in flawless condition. Think about it, most people treat pennies like, well, pennies. They toss them in jars, scrape them off sidewalks, and let them roll around with lint in their pockets. So when coin collectors come across a 1963 Lincoln penny that's absolutely pristine, they go bonkers. It's like finding a limited edition action figure still in the box. And that's where the high price comes from. Serious collectors will pay big to get a nearly perfect piece of history. Okay, here's where the fun begins. Grab a magnifying glass, get your 1963 pennies out, and start examining. Here's a quick checklist to get you started. Condition: the coin has to be minty fresh. If it looks like it's seen better days, sorry folks, it's probably worth, well, a cent grading. If your penny looks promising, you'll need it graded. Coin grading can get a bit pricey, but think of it as a small investment. A certified MS-67 grade or higher is what'll make collectors drool. Professional evaluation: if you think you've hit the jackpot, consult a pro. Many coin shops offer evaluations, and they might just confirm that you've got a beauty on your hands. Now, I have to share a story here. A few years ago, I stumbled on an old jar of coins that belonged to my grandpa. I thought, hey, maybe I'll find something rare in here. I started sifting through, getting all pumped with every 60s penny I found, convinced I was gonna strike it rich. But turns out, most of them looked like they'd been run over by a tractor. Let's just say, my millionaire dreams were shattered. But hey, don't let that stop you. Who knows, maybe your family penny jar holds the real treasure. So, back to our $714,000 jackpot. How did we even get to that figure? Well, the rarest pennies are bought and sold in auctions, where collectors bid like they're at a high-stakes poker game. Just last year, a 1963 Lincoln penny in pristine MS-67 condition actually sold for close to $714,000 at an auction. That's because collectors know they won't come across another one like it anytime soon. And here's the wild part: coin prices can change. Right now, the coin market is hot, especially for well-preserved coins. But just remember, even if your penny doesn't pull in hundreds of thousands, some collectors will still pay a decent amount for a well-kept 1963 penny. So there you have it. Who would have thought a simple 1963 penny could be worth so much? But remember, it's all about condition, rarity, and a bit of luck. If you're inspired to go on a penny hunt, start digging through those couch cushions. You never know what little piece of copper gold you might find. Maybe it's in your couch cushions, a forgotten jar, or just jingling around in your pocket. Well, guess what? That dusty little coin might be worth, wait for it, over $700,000. I'm not kidding. Today, we're talking about the elusive, ultra-valuable 1964 Lincoln cent, with no mint mark. Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent, no mint mark, worth over $700,000 today. Crazy, right? Stay tuned because in the next 10 minutes, we're diving into why this penny is worth more than your dream car, what makes it so special, and how you can check your own pennies to see if you might just have one. Alright, first, let's talk about what a no mint mark coin actually means. Most coins made in the US have a tiny letter stamped on them showing where they were minted. For example, D for Denver, S for San Francisco. But for pennies made in Philadelphia, there's usually no mint mark at all. So, if your penny has no mark below the date, that just means it was minted in Philly. But what's the big deal with the 1964 one? Why does this penny have collectors absolutely flipping out? Well, a few reasons. First, let's dig into the history a little bit. In 1964, the US Mint was churning out billions of these pennies, so it's not exactly a rare year. In fact, finding a 1964 penny isn't hard at all. You probably have one in your change jar right now. But what makes certain ones so valuable is their condition and rarity in uncirculated, almost flawless states. In the world of coin collecting, the tiniest scratch, ding, or flaw can make a world of difference. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, it's just a penny. How can one penny be any different from the next? Here's where things get wild. A 1964 Lincoln cent in pristine condition, like the kind that looks like it just popped off the press, is incredibly rare because most pennies get circulated and beat up over time. Coins in perfect, mint-state condition are graded on something called the MS scale, with MS 70 being the holy grail. No scratches, no nicks, nothing. A few years back, one of these rare, nearly flawless 1964 pennies hit the auction block, and the price kept going up, and up, until it sold for a mind-boggling $711,000. Imagine that, someone paid nearly $1 million for a penny. Now I have to tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I went down this rabbit hole of checking every penny I could find in my house. I was convinced I'd find something worth a small fortune, you know? So I turned my house upside down, checked under the couch, in old purses, even in the car cup holders. I'm looking like a mad scientist, squinting at every little coin. Finally, after all that digging, I found nothing. Zilch. But hey, maybe my luck will change one day, and that's why I'm encouraging you guys to check too. So, here's how to see if you've got one of these ultra-rare pennies. First, check the year. Make sure it's 1964. Then, look under the date. No mint mark, remember? Finally, get yourself a magnifying glass and inspect the coin's condition. If it's all scratched up, don't get your hopes up too high. But if it looks shiny, untouched, and smooth like it just rolled off the mint's presses yesterday, you could be holding on to something valuable. And if you do find a 1964 penny in top-notch condition, it's worth having it graded by a professional. That way, you'll know exactly what you're dealing with, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next person cashing in on a $700K penny jackpot. So there you have it. Who knew that a penny could be worth more than a brand new sports car? Maybe you've got one hiding in plain sight right now. Go ahead, dig through that couch, check your old wallets, and see what you find. And hey, if you do strike it rich with a rare coin, don't forget where you got the tip. And if you enjoyed this video, or if you're into finding hidden treasures in everyday places, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and stick around for more money-making tips and coin collecting secrets. Because who knows, next time, we might just help you turn a nickel into a nest egg. Well, what if I told you there's a penny that could be worth up to $705,000? Yeah, you heard that right. A single penny worth more than a Lamborghini. Welcome back, treasure hunters. Today we're diving into the mystery of the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln 1 cent. The penny that could turn your coin jar into a gold mine. So, first things first. What's up with this no mint mark thing? In 1967, the US Mint was actually experimenting. They wanted to reduce the pressure on their production lines by skipping mint marks for a few years, so, bam! We ended up with these Lincoln pennies without the usual mint marks like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But what they didn't realize is that one little penny from that batch would eventually be worth close to $750,000. Here's the catch, though. It's not just any 1967 penny that can make you rich. Nope, we're talking about one that's super rare. Coins, just like people, have different levels of perfect, you know? There are scuffed up ones, clean ones, and then there's the grade they call MS67 red. That means it's practically untouched, in pristine red condition, as if it just came out of the mint. That's the grade that took the price of this little guy to a whopping $705,000 in a recent auction. Now I know what you're thinking, I've got pennies. I've got a ton of them. They're lying around my car, my couch, heck, I'd probably have one in my shoe. But before you start cashing in every couch penny, let's talk about what makes a 1967 penny potentially worth a fortune. Alright, for this 1967 penny, you want to keep an eye out for these specifics. It's all about condition, folks. The magical MS67 red grade means there's no wear, it's got a bright red shine, and it's completely free of scratches and dings. Imagine you're back in 1967, listening to the Beatles, maybe dancing to a little All You Need Is Love, and then bam, someone hands you a penny straight out of the mint. That's the quality you're looking for. Now, if you find one in that kind of condition, well, you better handle it like it's a newborn baby, because that's the one that could fetch the big bucks. Coin collectors are out there searching like it's the holy grail of pennies. Okay, so why exactly would anyone pay that much for a penny? Simple. It's rare, and collectors go wild for coins that are both old and pristine. Think about it. After almost 60 years, finding a 1967 penny that's still shiny and untouched is like finding a needle in a haystack. Plus, without that mint mark, it's kind of a unique piece of history. It's like a little time capsule from the 60s. Now, here's a funny story. A few years back, I thought I struck gold, or rather copper. Found a 1967 penny in an old box at my grandma's house. I was over the moon. Thought it was the one, the chosen penny. Turns out, it was just a regular oil penny. It was worth, well, 1 cent. So yeah, this is why you've got to be careful, folks. Don't let the excitement get to you like it did to me. So where do you find one of these prized pennies? Short answer, anywhere pennies hang out. Go check your piggy banks, rummage through old jars, or maybe even visit your grandparents. They might have a stash. Heck, start eyeing those coin rolls you get from the bank. And remember, if you find a 1967 penny that looks particularly flawless, don't hesitate to get it graded. Who knows? It might just be a 705K ticket. Alright, so let's if you're lucky enough to come across a 1967 no mint mark penny in near perfect, glowing red condition, you could be holding on to a coin worth serious money. Just think about it, one little penny could change your life. So, go get digging in those penny jars. Yep, that's a penny with a few extra zeros behind it. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1968 S mint mark Lincoln penny, a little piece of copper that's turning heads and fattening wallets. Spoiler alert, this isn't your everyday penny. But before you start digging through your spare change, let me take you on a journey that could change how you look at pennies forever. You won't want to miss this. So, what's so special about this 1968 penny with the S mint mark? Well, back in the day, this S mint mark meant it was made in San Francisco. And 1968 was a big year. From the moon landing prep to Woodstock vibes, this penny carries some serious history. But here's where it gets wild. Certain S mint mark pennies were struck in a rare, proof form, a higher quality minting process meant only for collectors. Only a handful of these proof pennies were accidentally released into circulation. They have a mirror-like shine that's super obvious once you see it. It's like the coins begging to be picked out as special. So if you have one, you've got a mini fortune in your hands. Let me tell you, this penny hunt isn't just a story, it's personal. One day, I spent a solid 4 hours hunched over a mountain of change, convinced I'd find my own hidden gem. I was so deep into it that my back was cramping, and I'm pretty sure I started dreaming in copper. Spoiler alert, no 1968's proof penny. But hey, that's just more motivation to keep the search alive, right? You never know when you might hit the jackpot. Now, let's talk about the real deal, value. As of right now, one of these 1968's proof pennies sold at auction for a whopping $700,000. And the value only keeps climbing. Why? Well, a mix of rarity, condition, and a little bit of collector obsession. The world of coin collecting is crazy like that. A penny with a barely there scratch or a slight tarnish might be worth a few bucks, but one in mint condition, yeah, you're talking life-changing money. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can I tell if I have one of these pennies? Here are a few quick tricks. Mirror shine. This isn't your average scuffed-up penny. Proof coins have a mirror-like, almost glassy finish that you won't miss. Mint mark, S. Check the date. 1968 with a small s below the date is key. But don't mix it up with Denver's D or a regular coin with no mark at all. Extra sharp details. Proof coins have incredibly crisp details. If you can see Lincoln's eyebrows or the finer details in the monument, you might just be in luck. And let me just say, don't be the person who accidentally spends this penny on a candy bar. I've heard stories, and let's just say they end with tears. One time, a friend of mine swore he had one, only to realize it was sitting in his piggy bank after he used it for gas money. Yeah, don't be that guy. Alright, so whether you're a die-hard coin collector or just someone who loves a good treasure hunt, the 1968's penny is a wild reminder that even the smallest things can be worth a fortune. So, check those couch cushions, dig into your piggy banks, and get yourself a magnifying glass. Because who knows, maybe you've got a 700K penny hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this little coin adventure, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. I've got a ton of tips coming up on other coins you might just be holding on to without even knowing their worth. And hey, who knows? Maybe one of these tips will make you a mini millionaire. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting!